Hello, everyone. Let's see where we're at here. Just making sure everybody's on here, doing a little sound check. I have some music on. So let's just give it a check for a minute while you all come on board. Hey, Karen. Okay, I know we're live. If I don't hear from anybody, I don't know that we're live. So, um, yeah. So make yourself known if you're here. And thank you, Karen, for always showing up. It is so appreciated. Hi, Richard. How are you? Nice to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a really interesting time. This is going to be more like, hi, Debra. Hey, Mel. How are you? Welcome, everyone. This is going to be a fun time, or at least I hope it's going to be a fun time, because I want to talk about the upcoming Mercury retrograde. Hi, Irina. Is it Irina? Irina. I am doing very well, Mel. Thank you. Um, I had a little visit on Mel's Coffee and Biscotti show yesterday. So if you want to see that, that's actually still up on my timeline, or on my timeline. Oh my gosh. It's on my Clairvoyant readings page, and it is on my YouTube page. It was interesting. We were talking about mental health. Oh, I'm going to take this music off. I'm multitasking at a very big pace. I love you too, Karen. Thank you. Thanks, Angela, for being here. I think you're down under, right? I think so. You're in Australia, so we're going around the world here. So welcome. My name is Debbie Taitel, and I am the spiritual director of my own business. But hey, what the heck? I'm still the spiritual director of Spirit Light Insight. And I do clairvoyant readings. I teach classes. I write on Medium. I have a blog. I do a whole bunch of things. So welcome, everyone. So this is going to be kind of a Q&A. Oh, New Zealand. Oops, sorry. Angela said New Zealand. Sorry, I knew it was something like that. Anyway, so this is going to be part like Q&A and part information, because there is so much spiritual information out there that is very, very interesting. And one of the things that I want to try to get everyone to do is to actually begin to look for themselves, not just listen to this one or that one or what anybody's saying or anything like that, but to actually hear what they're saying and be able to kind of sift through the information and see what resonates for you. Because we have the ability and the capacity to know what's best for us. In fact, no one else knows what's best for us than us, because we're here to learn and we're here to have our experiences, good, bad, or ugly. Those experiences, and by the way, when we call it good, bad, or ugly, those are basically judgments. So I want to start out by talking about Mercury retrograde, and then at the end, as some of you may have seen in the promo, and I had kind of another promo running, is I want to answer your questions about psychic healing, because there are a lot of kind of words that we use, and I'm about to actually launch a 6-week Psychic Healing Foundations class. And this is for people, either you might have all kinds of information, you might have no information, doesn't matter. I'm teaching it at a basic level, so it will be for everyone. So I want to just answer some questions about that, because I'm getting a lot of people talk about, well, I'm not psychic, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. And I have news for every single one of you. Each of you is psychic. You are intuitive. You have amazing abilities, because psychic just means of the soul. And I don't want to minimize that by just means of the soul. But that is what it means, is psychic is of the soul. So we have these astrological influences. Hey, Michael, welcome. Our bestest friend, Michael Arrington, is here. Welcome, welcome. So we have these astrological influences that happen, and the astrologers and the numerologists and everybody talks about all of these things. And you may have heard tell about Mercury retrograde. And the second Mercury retrograde of the year begins on the 10th. So it's just a few days from now, right? And Mercury is the planet, the communications planet, the planet that governs contracts and things like that. We'll get into all of that. But the second Mercury retrograde of the year begins on the 10th in the air sign of Gemini and ends in the earth sign of Taurus. And what that means, and okay, so I'm not an astrologer. There's my caveat for the day, is I'm not an astrologer. But what that means is that everything cycles, everything happens. So Mercury retrograde actually happens 3 to 4 times a year. So it is something that happens, right? It's cyclical. It happens all the time. And we just kind of got to get used to it. Let it be there, right? So this Mercury retrograde that starts on the 10th. Hi. We're getting highs. Happy Saturday, everyone. So this Mercury retrograde happens between 2 eclipses. So there was a solar eclipse on April 30th, and then a blood moon lunar eclipse on the 16th, which oddly is the day that I start the class, but that's another thing. I did not look at the astrology. But when a Mercury retrograde, when this particular astrological influence comes in between these eclipses, it actually magnifies the energy. So each of us is kind of super sensitive to its effects, whether we are aware of it or not. And that is the other part to Mercury retrograde, is about awareness, right? Is being aware of what we're already aware of, but we don't know we're aware of it. I hope you followed that. That's a really good one. So as I said, Mercury is the planet of communication. So all forms of communication, technology, verbal, person-to-person communication, telepathy. So we all have this broadband telepathy where we can communicate with groups, people. And then we have this narrowband telepathy, which is how we have this telepathic communication between 2 people. We have all kinds of that. This is communication with pets, with our loved ones, just all kinds of communication. It's also the planet of contracts, so written contracts and travel. So when Mercury enters retrograde, and if you don't know what that is, I probably should have explained that. If somebody is there anyone that doesn't know what Mercury retrograde is that's on here? Raise your hand, make yourself known, and let me know. But I think everybody kind of knows. It is when Mercury gives the illusion of going backwards. It's just kind of an illusory astrological aspect. But when Mercury enters retrograde, the energy shifts, like all of our energy shifts, to an internal reflective state, right? Our intuition runs really high, and things that have been kind of in the background, hiding in the shadows, those things that we haven't wanted to address, the things that we've pushed to the back of the closet, so to speak, whether it's energetic, whether it's things left unsaid with, people that we've had a fight with or something like that. So we enter this retrograde period, which is all about the RE, the review, reflect, revise, replenish. And I'm going to add an F in there, and that would be to forgive, because we're going to find many, many mistakes during this time. Anything that comes to light from our shadow, right? Once we become aware of it, we can no longer shove it back into the closet or ignore it. So here are some facts about Mercury retrograde. And this is like, a lot of people get really freaked out about Mercury retrograde. Does anybody get freaked out here? I don't know. It's hard. I know that there's a delay. I try to get to all the comments as quickly as I can, but I hear a lot of, oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde. Oh my God, I can't do anything. Oh my God, I can't sign contracts. I can't, communicate properly. I can't schedule a trip. I can't travel. There's a lot of things that I've heard tell. Yes, bring it on, Debra. Exactly. Debra says, bring it on. I agree. Well, here's the thing, and I love about this actually. So I have, kind of two different lives, like some of us do, right? So I sell real estate. I do more business. Yes, Richard, I'm going to get to how we can prepare for Mercury retrograde in just a sec. I want to get to some of the facts, but yes, there's a lot you can do to prepare. But what I was saying is that I sell real estate, and I do more business during Mercury retrograde, right? Because it's a review. It's a time where we go back to, right? So it's just something I tend to do business 4 times a year in bulk, not the energy business, not the psychic business, but the real estate business. And I know that there's going to be delays and issues with contracts. So I check, I double check, I dot the I's, I cross the T's, I check with other people. That's what you can do. It's about awareness and paying attention. And Richard asked, is there anything we can do? Well, one of the things that we can do is be extra aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your communications. Be aware of all the different things that you might be going around the busyness of your day and not be aware of, right? Edie just said here that her Kabbalah sister says all the same things about Mercury retrograde. And there is a lot of us that say the same things, and yet people quake in their boots usually. But here's what I want to say. Mercury retrograde doesn't just come on us, right? We've been in the shadow, the pre-shadow, what they call it. And again, I'm not an astrologist. So I'm taking these words from some wonderful, incredibly talented people. But we've been in the pre-shadow for almost 2 weeks. So basically, we've been already feeling slowdowns. So if you've had slowdowns in your life, or you noticed that you have to keep going back, I was writing something this morning and had to go back 4 times. I don't even know what it was doing. It was like sliding back to the beginning. So the slowdown for this particular retrograde starts about 2 weeks before, give or take. Fact number 2, astrology is meant as a guidepost, not a hitching post. So don't get stuck and in fear that a lot of people go into fear during these weeks. Again, it's about being aware and recognizing that there's a slowdown. And then I will add another thing you can do to prepare, Richard, is to actually slow down. This is a time for reflection and paying attention. It's time to, it doesn't stop our life. We need to get on with our life and just pay a little more attention to the details. This Mercury retrograde is all about the details. Dot the I, cross the T, watch your communications. When it comes to technology, I'll give you a great example of a technological thing. I wasn't paying attention when I put out the initial notification for this, and I put the wrong thumbnail picture on it. I did put the Mercury on there, but I had all the announcement, and I had spent an hour working on the pretty little announcement, and then forgot to put it up on the notification. So that's kind of a thing. And I just had to laugh that, yeah, of course, I'm doing a Mercury retrograde show. So yes. So offer yourself a space. And actually, I should probably just put that up there from Richard. Offer yourself a space to do what the retrograde period is asking you to do. Review, reflect, revisit, release, clear out the old, and forgive kind of anything that's lingering. And forgive doesn't mean you're a doormat. It doesn't mean that you're, let's say, letting that person off the hook. But if there's an old something unsaid or loose ends that need to be tied up with another person, just have that space for yourself and give it a space to be. And be sure to include yourself in this as you reflect and release and clear out. Be sure to include yourself. These are all the things you can do to help you prepare. And by the way, drop questions in the box, in the chats, the various chats, and I will definitely answer them. So we will get to that. Just because I'm yapping along right now is what it is. But thank you all for being here and listening to this. So another thing is, don't blame Mercury retrograde or the moon or your astrology sign or the time and date you were born or the numerology of your life and all those things. Don't blame any of that stuff for everything that happens. Mercury retrograde, the moon phases, the stars where they are, things that are aligned, our relationships, everything. Moon phases. And by the way, I add the moon because I hear similar things during full moon or new moon cycles. Every full moon is, oh my God, everybody's going crazy. And every new moon is, we need to set our new moon intentions. Well, that's true. That's fun to do. Moons, full moons, light up what was in darkness. What better way to go crazy, right? Is then suddenly what we had hidden is coming to light. New moons are all about the intention. So that's okay. But all of these things are natural cycles. And I know that we don't blame the rain when the flowers bloom. We just enjoy the flowers. We don't blame the cold when the leaves on the trees turn glorious colors of red and orange and gold during the fall, of course, depending on where you live, right? But the Mercury retrograde cycle is as much about awakening and opening up your creative expression as it is about reflection, right? Sometimes one of the amazing things about Mercury retrograde is maybe you started a passion project at some time and you put it on the shelf for later. Or maybe if you're an artist, maybe there's something that you wanted to paint or a script you wanted to write or bring to a producer or a musician who has wanted to share a new piece of work. This is a great time to pull that out, because later is now, and then look at it and put the finishing touches on it. Mercury retrograde may actually give you the inspiration, not just to put it out there, but you'll probably find any, what would you say, errors. I hate to call them errors because they're not really errors, but places where you'd like to tweak them and bring it into present time in alignment with your creativity. So yeah, those are some of the things that you can do. Meditate, do some inner reflecting, right? And although this might not be time for starting, let's say, a brand new project, you can plan for the new one. And then you can revisit and possibly integrate that, let's say, that new thing into something that you started that you hadn't finished. So there we have some background. And so in preparation, since we're already in it, I invite all of you to, oh, that's great. Thank you. Edie said she needed that. Thank you. This is just a really great time to just slow down. Right? Some of the preparation is just being able to recognize where we are and what's been going on. I invite you to share, like, is stuff been going on? I've noticed technology gone bonkers. Personally, there's glitches and there's crazy things happening all the way around, and they're definitely happening. So just be aware and be amused. Be terribly, terribly amused. I know, is that an oxymoron? Terribly amused? I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but it's very odd not to be talking with somebody. I've gotten very used to talking to Michael or talking to Mel, Bellissimo, or any number of people. My friend Julia sometimes pops on, and I have others pop on. So it's kind of funny to just talk and teach. But I think this is really important because so many people get into fear and want to stop their lives. Hi, Matthew. Welcome. Want to stop their lives, because of this. And it's really nothing to be afraid of. It's part of the cycles of life. And also, when we talk about Mercury retrograde, by the way, would you believe that a lot of my information about Mercury retrograde comes directly from the Farmer's Almanac, like the real Farmer's Almanac? So if you go to the Farmer's Almanac and put in Mercury retrograde, you're going to get a ton of information and different articles. So it is very mainstream at this particular point in time. So yeah, there's a lot of that. In fact, even NASA, they'll every now and then you'll see an article there. But to add to that, we talk about Mercury retrograde. So it's when Mercury stops and looks like it's going backwards. The planet never actually really goes backwards. It's an illusion that it's going backwards based on its location in the sky and based on the axis that we're seeing it from and things like that. So it's not going backwards. It appears to go backwards. And I also always want to ask, when did clearing illusions and revisiting energy in order to heal gets such a bad rap. I mean, I think we all want to heal. And by the way, when I say healing, I'm talking about returning to wholeness, that space where uh, we call back our energy from wherever it's scattered about, and we come back to ourselves. And Karen would love to hear more about the class. The class will be not it'll be on Zoom, but it'll be by phone. You can do it by phone or by video, so I don't really care, but it's a 6-week class. Starts on May 16th. I will drop you a link. Actually, let me drop a link in the chat, and I think I can pull that up really quick. I meant to do that earlier. Let's see if I could do that without hang on a second here. Oh, everything is gone berserko crazy right now. I'm just going to the page and I'll drop it in there. It's called Psychic Healing Foundations. I want you to be able to find it really quickly. Here we go. Let's see here. There we go. So you will see this on YouTube. If you are not on YouTube, we will get more to that. Yeah, Richard said he works in a school and we've had issues with our network. Yeah, and it could get worse. I'm not going to lie. Which part? What a wonderful way to look at retrograde. I'm not sure which you were referring to because I'm multitasking here, but I'm glad that you love it because it's really a great space to take advantage of, right? So it's just about revisiting the energies and healing. And do things go wonky? It's funny because I was about to say, yes, technology is definitely affected. Things slow down. Things absolutely slow down. All of it really. Oh, good. Good healing and everything. Great. So everything really slows down. Our lives slow down. We pay attention to different things when we're in this space. But what's happening is Mercury retrograde simply gives us a space to point out where we are and where we aren't aware, and where we might be stuck in an illusion or what I psychically call a picture, right? And sometimes we just need to slow down to see and understand things more clearly. So, yes. Oh, hi, Linda. Linda's here. Wonderful. Another psychic. So thank you so much. Reverse, release, renew, regret, regroup, and all the rewords. Yes, I was talking about that earlier, but you added some regret, regret and regroup. You added a few there, so thank you for adding those, because it's really true. Anything that's RE is a fantastic thing. Yes, exactly, Richard. Maybe it's not happening to us, but for us. And that goes right to the point. That is the answer, is to start considering these influences something that is for us to use. I have article after article on my blog that about using Mercury retrograde to your advantage. Yeah, I'll put out a couple of rewrites on those in the next week. So if you're following me on Medium, you'll see it. you'll see those. But one of the meditation tips that I have is if you ground yourself and simply choose awareness, more often than not, you'll see something you may have missed. So it really is about going inside. Isn't that interesting? So if those of you who don't know how to ground, I welcome you to, I have all kinds of free, let's see, there's my website there, spiritlightinsight.com. If you go to my website, there is a page. In fact, you can find the Psychic Healing Foundations class under classes as well on my website. But if you go there to spiritlightinsight.com, you'll also see a link to meditations, and there's some free meditations that will teach you how to ground yourself, probably in a different way than what you're used to. Maybe if you've been with me for a while. Hi, Ming. We've got Canada in the house and a couple of places. Welcome. So yeah, if you ground yourself and choose your awareness, you're gonna see some things. So also Mercury retrograde is a time when intuition runs super high. Right? So those gut feelings that you have, pay attention to all of those. They're being magnified. And also, again, I talked about this a little earlier, that in between the eclipses, right, it's magnified even more. So this gives us a perfect opportunity to slow down and see things in a different light, because it's all about perspective. Weird dreams this week. Oh, that's a biggie. Oh gosh, by the way, Debra, you are not alone. Almost everyone I know is having wild, wacky, weird dreams. The astral is very, very active these days. So if you've been noticing that, and that's a little bit separate from Mercury retrograde, but it's nonetheless, it is happening big time. So yeah, there's weird dreams happening, and just notice them and see if there's any messages. Debra, it actually looks like you've got a loved one or something that is trying to be in communication. I wasn't going to really do any kind of reading space, but there's some kind of being or entity or something that is trying to come through. So really be aware of those dreams. And I encourage, if you've been having weird dreams, I encourage you to write them down. You may connect those dreams with something when at another time. You may not understand it while you're going through all of it. Debra says, do tell. I've been having weird dreams. Yeah. So you've got somebody, there's some sort of being or some entity that's trying to communicate with you. So I don't know if you work with out-of-body beings, spirits and guides and things like that, but you're definitely receiving some messages. So write down your dreams, and you don't have to analyze them, because that's an analyzer thing. That's not a clairvoyant thing. Your clairvoyance is your third eye. That's your neutral space, right? Anytime we go to analyze something, we're gonna think it to death. So yeah, so Ming says, wait, what is this? I use a app. I don't even know what that is. An app. Okay, Ming, I'm going to have to Google that, or you're going to have to write something. there about what that is, and I'll post it up. What I do say though is that each of us has the ability to ground that space before we go to bed as well, which I don't know if the light helps or not. I'm not familiar with it. So, it's a crystal. Got it. Yeah, see, that's how much I know about crystals and things like that. Crystals are great, but again, they are a tool that we use that actually, it's funny you put that up, and for the first time I'm kind of looking at it, and that crystals are a tool that we use to magnify our own energy and have it come back to us. That's super interesting. It's that we can use these tools to help ground us, but they're an assistance to where we are. So that's awesome. I don't know that crystal. I'm going to Google it after. Richard, I've been feeling a lot of prankster energy around me recently, moving and hiding things. Oh, elves and fairies. Where do you live, Richard? You have yeah, you have that cracks me up when not with you for you so much, but it always cracks me up when things start out over here and then they end up over here, and it is not our imagination per se. How fun. This is fun. Oh, another one in Ontario. I've got a couple of, let's see, I've got Ottawa. I think I've got 2 or 3 from Ottawa. And then I don't know where Kitchener is. Is it Kitchener or Kitchen? I'll figure out how to pronounce that another time. Somebody might know, but yeah, there's some beings out there right now. I talked about this yesterday a little bit. There are some entities flying about that are looking to stir up the energy. And what I will say about that, in fact, I can tie it right in to the Mercury retrograde. And that is that we need to be senior to all of these things. We are never a victim to the pranksters or the entities or the astrological influences. We have free will. We have a body. Do you know how much energy it takes to have a body? To create being in a body? That's a lot of energy kind of magnetized and drawing it to us to have this body. So yeah, there's lots of things going on. I'm going to actually do an energy read, not right this second on it because it looks interesting. But Richard, you're not the first person that has talked about the prankster energy, and Debra, that is actually the energy that I was seeing in your dreams, was like that kind of that prankster like energy that was going to give that's wanting a hello from you. And I know that sounds simple, just a hello, but our hello as beings in the body, that hello is very, very powerful to entities and things like that. Linda, are you still here? Because Linda's a psychic medium, and I'm sure that she gets that as well, where there's all kinds of messages. I don't know if she's still here or not, but she'll post if she is. But yeah, there's a lot of energy swirling around. So here we are, entering this new phase. We just had that eclipse, the new moon eclipse, where we were bringing up things that got eclipsed out. That's what eclipses do. Linda, what's your take on the prankster energy? I can't, let me see here. If you have any thoughts on that, I'd like to hear, because it's definitely a mediumship issue in the dreams and around. And so I don't know, Linda, if you're experiencing that. I know we haven't had a chance to chat on the phone yet. We will. I promise. I've just been crazy busy. Very lucid dream. And he texted an hour later. Yeah, that's happening a lot. That's all of that telepathy that's being magnified, that's being shown to us. Prankster is the negative. Okay. So they're beings. I'm going to put a little twist on that, because I don't see energy as positive or negative. I mostly see it as ours or not ours. But what I will call that about the prankster is, like, the elves and fairies aren't always very nice. Right. Trying to fool and interfere. Exactly. So that is what they try to do. And thank you, that I was searching for the word distraction, that they're here as a distraction. So it takes us out of our own flow, right? So they try to fool and interfere and distract us. And thank you for that reminder. And to confuse, let's see, we'll put that at to confuse. So I absolutely thank you for that. That's great. Okay, look at how wonderful this kind of meandering conversation goes, right? And that's how I want it to be. This is great fun to have you all here to participate. So isn't it interesting? We start out with Mercury retrograde and intuition running high. And if we start paying attention to these things and we see them in a different light, it's giving us opportunity to better understand situations from the past. Like, Linda, you said you had a lucid dream and he texted. But who knows, that could be a million different things. But when we understand our situations, and she said, yes, from the past, there we go. Where is that? Okay. I am multitasking at a crazy, y'all don't know me. I do not multitask like this. So this is quite something. So anytime we slow down, if we take the opportunity to sit back, ground and center, align with the God of our heart or source, whatever you'd like to call it, and turn our attention inward to reflect, review, revise, rejuvenate, where we're, Linda's, I meant to star those other words, all the different R words that we have. In this fast-paced world, we just get to have, Mercury retrograde gives us this respite, revelation. It's time for reflection and revelation, that which will be revealed. And what's really great about this, and I was going to talk about it later, but it's kind of coming to my awareness now, is that with the full moon lunar eclipse, we get to light up things that are revealed, and the power of, let's say, the eclipse that is happening will end up eclipsing it out and helping you move it out even faster than you might have. So it's also a time, this whole space, increased awareness of ourselves and our relationship with the whole. What we're going to see coming up in the news for all of us, no matter where you live, is you're going to start to see your own relationship, how you relate to the whole. And the more you use these various, hi Tammy, the more we use these various influences to our advantage, the more we become aware of our relationship to the whole, whether it's the whole in this world, this video game we're living in, or the spirit world, or any kind of awareness. So use this time wisely. What is it, Karen? You said you don't see beings or entities as positive or negative. I'm curious what your take is on demons. So there are entities and beings that are benevolent, just like there are those that are not so helpful. It's just like, unfortunately, it's just like our regular world, right? There's beings of all kinds in this space. There's all kinds. They're all about, yeah. So just, and I'm not talking about a different dimension where we're living, kind of parallel lives. I'm actually talking about the spirit world, but there are as many of those anytime. Okay. So if we talk about things, that's a whole different show. It's real when I channel negative. And yes, it is. It's a different thing. This is a very complicated subject that there's no right or wrong. What I see is that they are just as just like in the real world. So there's also angels, there's ascended masters, and there's those what you call demons that are the quote unquote fallen angels. I mean, wasn't Satan a fallen angel? Didn't he start out as an angel? So yeah, that is a whole different show than Mercury retrograde. But you know what? Maybe I will chit chat with Linda and see if she wants to do something maybe in the future on that, because that might be fun. But just be aware. Here's what I'm going to say about that is I said it a little bit earlier, and that is that we need to be senior to all of it. We have the ability to create a body. It takes a great deal of energy. And while there are tons of influences and different kind of entities and different kind of energies and all of that, if we're focused outside of ourselves, that defeats the purpose of turning our attention within, right? So we want to be aware of these other influences on the kind of a broader scope, right? But we still want to work on ourselves and heal ourselves and center ourselves, right? It's really all about that. It's really all about being senior in our own space, being senior to these other entities. And again, and it's interesting, Karen, you said, LOL, sorry. But sorry, not sorry, because you know what? That's what we're doing in my Psychic Healing Foundations class. Is on, I think it's week 5. You're going to learn how to work with the benevolent beings to give a healing to others. It's going to be a beautiful space. So maybe not LOL, sorry. Maybe you're just right along that channel, and maybe that's the energy that might have come into the room and you were picking up on it. So it's all about our seniority and how we deal with it. We are senior to all the other stuff. Yeah. Including, and I'm going to circle back and bring it back to Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde can become a challenge if and or when we resist. I was screaming at my computer this morning while writing an article. I think I told you that earlier, that it just kept skipping back to the beginning. It drove me crazy. But I also found the glitch because that's another aspect of Mercury retrograde. It points out the glitches and things we need to pay attention to. So slow down. Give yourself a pause. Hit the pause button on your busyness for just a second. Review, reflect, revise, rejuvenate, all of those things. Yeah. And with a lot of, actually, if you use this time to your advantage, this is like giving yourself a spa day, like every day for the next few weeks, and you are going to reap the benefits of this tenfold or more. This is an incredible time to be alive, despite all the things that are happening in the world, particularly here in the US. And in fact, even what's happening here in the US, isn't it interesting? It's a Mercury retrograde. We are revisiting something from, what was it? Is it 50 years ago? We're going to get it right this time. And Ming, I'll get to that in 1 second, but I also want you to kind of remember, and everybody give themselves a breath right now. And just say hello to your own bodies. I got to thinking while I was kind of putting all of this together, and I do have some notes and things like that I wanted to, make sure that I didn't forget anything. This is an amazing time to remember what we were taught, whether either when we were driving or even maybe when we were little and we were going to go cross the, walk across the road. But for sure, when we were driving and we're going to drive across a train track. And what are you supposed to do when you're in your car and you come up to a train track? Is you're supposed to stop, look, and listen. And so maybe make that your mantra for the next 3 weeks. What if it was to ground, be aware, stop, pause, breathe, look at the energy. As Richard said, maybe not, maybe you look at it, don't be the effect of it, right? Just because there's an energy there. Absolutely, Tammy. I absolutely think you should ask your husband for a spa day for Mother's Day. That is not even a question. Thank you, Angela, for being here. But look at the energy and listen to your intuition, listen to what your gut's telling you. Isn't that a great kind of connection for some things that we can do for Mercury retrograde? Ming asks, with heightened intuition during Mercury retrograde, how do you hear intuition better? I get confused if it's intuition or if it's trauma or anxiety. How do you work on knowing the difference? Actually, that's very simple. And I know it's maybe not so simple, but it's simple. You actually look at the energy. You look at it from neutral. When we connect with our trauma and anxiety and think that that's us, that is not our intuition. But when we look at energy, we're not using our intuition. We're not intuiting that. We're actually seeing it, looking at it, knowing it. And so it's not about knowing the difference. It's about looking at, if you're confused, it's not your intuition. That's very simple. That's the way I could say that. But hearing your intuition, it can be clearing. You need to clear out your telepathic channels, your communication center in your 5th chakra. And then recognize the trauma and anxiety and let it go. Right? We don't have to hold on to trauma and anxiety. And I'm not saying we don't have anxiety over trauma, but we are not that thing. We are not our anxiety. We're feeling it, but that's not who we are. Reconnect back with the spirit that you are and your third eye in the center of your head. And just kind of look, where is that information coming from? What I will say is very often, and it's interesting, I think, Ming, that you bring that up, because a lot of times our anxiety is not even ours, it's from other people, and we pick up that energy. So it's a matter of owning our space again and being senior. And this is great. Love that. Profound. Thank you. And also, Richard says, I have anxiety, but at least it doesn't have me. That's really a really good answer, actually, because, it's not who you are in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have you. You have it, but you don't have to have it. And Tammy says that her anxiety comes from others 80% of the time. And that's a lot of times what I see too, right? And there's so much fear and anxiety in the world right now. How can we not pick it up? We can own our space with it, but it's not about perfection and everything. What we need to start doing, and this is again back to kind of Mercury retrograde, is slowing things down so we have an opportunity to look at these things, to look at the energy. Schedule a reading. I'll look at the energy for you. But we can also just look at it in meditation and let it not have us, right? It doesn't have to take hold and become our end all be all. I love Tammy says, just give it back. That's what I do. Give it back. But don't give it back in the sense of, kind of revenge or resisting. But in giving back, I'm going to put a different twist on that. When we give back, we need to ask ourselves what it is that we're giving back. If we're experiencing fear, do we want to give back fear, or do we want to give love from our heart? Do we want to offer some kindness to those who are afraid? Do we want to create something so that someone else feels safe enough not to have that fear and not to resist the fear? That's a really interesting thing to ponder, don't you think? Is to look at what it is that we are experiencing. And if you don't consent to that energy and you can feel it, right. Well, so Tammy says, I do not consent of that energy. You can feel it, not me. And I can verbally help you with that anxiety, but it's not mine. And so no one can actually hand us their problems and have them stick unless we agree to it at some level. So yeah, that it's not yours. But I would say that if somebody's afraid, they're in a survival space. Fear, y'all know what? Have y'all heard the definition of fear being false evidence appearing real? I've always loved that particular one, false evidence appearing real. But if somebody's in anxiety, that's our time that we don't need to take it on, but we certainly can have empathy for them. So that's we went in all kinds of wonderful places today, didn't we? And I'm gonna start wrapping up. But Karen says, "Oh, so good. Somebody shot me the bird the other day while driving, and instead of responding with anger or frustration, I said out loud, 'Peace be with you.' It felt really good." Well, I got news for you, Karen. I'm glad that you did that because I would have given him the bird right back. And because I'm a curious clairvoyant, but I'm also a potty mouth whatever, I don't know. So I love that. So thank you so much for that. That's so good. Yes, peace be with you and with you. I love that. So Richard says, as an old soul, people are always giving me their energies and problems to unravel, even strangers. Yep, Richard, welcome to my world. And you are a healer. And so what happens is you take it on, because actually, Richard, you are a super old soul, and part of your wisdom and grace and love and purpose here is to actually help some of these energies kind of move on from this world, to kind of be released. There's a lot of, I see part of with you that there's a space that you help people clear their karma in this present time. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow, really nice. Yeah, false evidence appearing real. Yeah, I love that. I don't remember who said that. It's definitely not mine, but I loved it when I heard it. What sign am I? I am a Leo, and when I last had Anthony Pico on here, he started doing my chart. So there's some sort of kind of Scorpio stuff in there, and I don't know what any of that means. But I will schedule with him to get that out. And Karen says, I have a potty mouth, raised 2 boys alone after my husband died. Well, that would be a potty mouth right there. Just that's some courage there. 2 boys. Wow. That is a handful. That's what I got there. By the way, again, I wasn't going to do kind of readings, but I am definitely getting something from your husband, who there's some special meaning behind Mother's Day for you, Karen, with your husband. Yeah, and so happy Mother's Day. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to the moms out there. But Karen, there's something very special about that first Mother's Day. I don't know if one of your boys was born or something around that time, or what's going on, but there's definitely some energy here around Mother's Day. So enjoy that. You're going to have a little extra energy from your husband these days. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And by the way, by moms, I mean moms, dads that are moms, fur baby moms, those raising a cat. So you're a mom, Richard. There you go. You have a cat. I have a cat too. I'm a cat mom. Difference, you won't be a cat lady. And yes, they are. I raised and adopted his son after we got married. His mom passed away when he was 3. Yeah, Karen, that's really something. So Mother's Day is super, super special. So There you go. So everybody's kind of piping up and saying Happy Mother's Day. So during this Mercury retrograde, stop, look, listen. The blood moon eclipse is on May 15th, and it's all about ending and closing a cycle. Watch what happens in the news. There's going to be those cycles ending as well. Mercury is probably going to assist us in this process by unearthing deeper insights and intuitive messages. So pay attention. Although Mercury can slow things down and create delays, this extra time we're given, this perceived extra time, this slowdown, is to turn our attention within, because we're being given an extraordinary gift 3 to 4 times a year. So everybody should use it to their advantage. So if you want more on Mercury retrograde, reach out to me. You can email me. I can send you links to some of the articles that I've written. Otherwise, to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Happy, no matter what, if you're a caregiver, caretaker, you don't have to be female. If you are caring for anybody, anything, you are their mom. So happy Mother's Day. Have a blessed and amazing Mercury retrograde. Reach out to me about the Psychic Healing Foundations class. Apparently, I will have to do this again. I was going to answer questions about psychic healing. We can do that. Oh, wonderful. Richard is downloading. Thank you. We're getting some wonderful comments here, and I appreciate each and every one of you visiting and coming here and spending this hour with me. It brings me great joy. I'll do another show before about psychic healing. You can always drop me your questions, Facebook, email, whatever. But for now, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. And just remember, above all, find love in your heart. Use this Mercury retrograde to your advantage and be kind. Bye-bye for now.